So I don't know what's in here. So first look for me is also going to be the first look for you. Let's get this thing cut open and see what's all in here. This is the Everlast Thunder 255 MTS MIG machine. I'm ready to get this thing out of the box. It's itching at me, but what we have here is a unboxing video. We're gonna take everything out part by part, see what's in the box, what it has to offer, and if there's any assembly required to the machine, we'll go ahead and get that out of the way too. Videos after this one will be actually using the machine, setting parameters, and using all the processes, so please stay tuned for that. So I don't know what's in here, so first look for me is also going to be the first look for you. I will say this box was extraordinarily heavy. I had to actually get a dolly and bring it back here to my garage. But let's get this thing cut open and see what's all in here. Starting off, we have a TIG torch here, air cooled. What we got here? We got our ground clamp, workpiece clamp, however you prefer to say it. We also have our MIG welding gun. Now I will say I have not used this MIG welding gun yet, so I'm kind of curious of how comfortable this thing is. We'll find out. You got a airline here. This is the regulator. And I will say the back side of this box is pretty beat up. UPS didn't exactly take the best care of it. So hopefully when I get this machine out, there's nothing wrong with it. But if there is, it's now on video. So yeah, we got a regulator here. We also have our stinger. We have a quartered foot pedal. And then we also have our plastic handles for the top of the machine itself. So I am going to pull this box out, look down in here real fast. Okay, and then let's go there. I'm going to get the different camera angles so you can see what came out of the top of the box first, then we'll get the machine out of here. So let's go over what we have in the box. It came with a foot pedal for your TIG welding. It came with some TIG welding consumables for a 26 style TIG torch. If you got your finger control that's already on there, this is an air-cooled torch. These are really nice from Nova. Also, you've got your MIG gun here. I love that this has the ball and socket on the end for, well, it'll eliminate a lot of fatigue in welding by having that. Mine did not have a manual in it, so I just printed this out. Not a big deal at all. You jump on their website. They've got downloadable manuals for every one of their machines. Also came with the gauge. It came with the holes. It came with your stinger and also your ground. The plastic's already put on the welder, and we're going to get to that next. So let's take a quick walk around the machine. This thing is slick. It's a beefy machine. And again, I do like the 3 points they have for handles, especially if you're going to be taking this thing out on a job, which I plan on doing. It's 69 pounds in total weight naked, and what I mean by that is without any of the attachments like your MIG gun or wire or anything like that. So obviously adding a 44-pound spool of wire is going to amp up that weight. But here in the back, we have a breaker style power. You got your TIG gas and then your MIG welding gas. Another feature I really do like that Everlast puts on their machines is this door right here, especially for MIG welding, because if you have to do any welding that happens to be by your machine and you get any splatter that hits, it's going to be protected by this. So that's a really cool thing to have on your machines to help protect it and get a longer lasting life out of it. Down here, what we have is this is where your MIG gun is going to go, your gas inlet for TIG welding, your positive DIN style, your foot pedal, and then your negative DIN style. So let's open this lid. You have all your soft keys for adjustment here, your different welding processes, your adjustment knobs. Everything just feels nice and smooth and solid on these machines. I really like them. Let's crack it open here and see what we have. Do this one-handed if I can. Okay, now we're good. I went ahead and dropped a 11-pound spool in here. That little plastic piece that I wasn't sure what it was. Well, what it is if you're putting an 11-pound spool in here or a 10-pound, you got this to take up that space instead of using a spring like other machines. I do like this. This thing is solid. It's not cheap plastic, so it's going to work out great. Let me get this put back in here. All right, here you have 4 rollers for your wire. You have your upper here, and then you have your lowers that are grooved. Let me take one of these out. All right. And then you can see right here, you have 2 different wire diameters on these. I will probably order more of them just to have different sizes just in case. I typically run 035 on everything anyway. I usually don't run a whole lot of 045, so I really don't see me needing it in the future, but it's one of those things it's better to have than not have just in case. And you just tighten that back up there. Something else that I think is really neat. Oh, well, you got your adjustment knob for your tension on the wire. Anyways, something else I really do think is neat, and it's because I've had to tear a lot of machines apart before and do repairs on the inside, and a lot of the repairs I've had to do are from the motor for your wire feeder. Now, if you've ever had to tear into one, you have to take the whole body off. You got to take a bunch of stuff apart just to get to that thing. Some of them I've seen hidden behind motherboards, which makes it even worse. This one is right here where you can access it if it ever comes to that. So, but taking care of your machine and not beating the hell out of it, that's going to be one of those things to make sure that you don't have to dig into it. Then, all right, here you have your, if you needed to reverse your polarities, easy access to get to, quick to change out. I do like that this panel was left naked, so if I want to put any information on this panel for this machine, just for quick reference, I have that. I can either put a chart on here, I can get a fine point Sharpie, write down what I need, whatever needs to take place. I will probably get a magnetic holder to sit back here in the corner, so I can put extra things in there like consumables, tips, nozzles, whatever I need. I will get a full spool first to see how it fits, to make sure there is room, but I don't see it being a problem. Heck, if I have to, I might be able to put something magnet up in here. There's plenty of space. But the machine, this thing is awesome. Oh, well, looky there. Look, there's my 325. Over here, I have my 161 STH, a little portable one I carry around. That's beside the point. We're talking about this machine. So let's take some measurements on it and see what we have total with the handles on there and length. I have my tape measure here. Again, I am doing this one-handed, so please forgive me. Let's stretch this out. Let's see what we have here. That is going to be flush on my table. We're going to eyeball this, and it looks like when I get down here to look at it, right at 20 inches. So let's check this back one too. Same thing, right at 20 inches. So yeah, that's pretty decent. Let's go to length. Let me make sure I have this lined up properly with the back. Come around the front. Yeah, if we include the gas inlet for the TIG welding, we're pretty much on the edge of the table, which is going to be 29 inches from the back of the machine to the front of the machine. Pretty decent dimensions on there. Let's get a quick view of turning this on. See what it looks like. I'm going to reach back here. Nice color display, nice and clean too. All right, and we got some parameters that's already popped up starting off. Okay, so this is gonna control your volts, this is gonna control your inches per minute, and it looks like we got pre-flow, post-flow, your start wire feed, your end wire feed, upslope, downslope, backburn, inductance, spot stitch, wire diameter, remote, torch, units. So yeah, there's a lot here that you can adjust. And then over here you have your gas purge, you have your wire feed, you have your power set, and you have your easy wire run in, save and program. And then you've got your buttons here to adjust these settings here. Very simple. For example, I'm down here in red with the wire diameter. I'm going to select that. Well, it went away. Let me get back down there to it. And let's set it for 035. Very simple. What's it go up to? Looks like it goes up to 045. I'm going to be using 035. And let's see if I can get out of here now. All right. So that's the machine. Just a quick walk around, measurements, and just turning it on real fast. But let's go ahead and get all the accessories plugged into this, the MIG gun, the TIG, the foot pedal, everything we have here that came with the machine. So first, let's get the MIG gun hooked up here. This is going to be the MIG gun, and as I was talking about earlier with the way it has the ball and pivot on the end, I like this, especially if you're doing a lot of manipulation in your puddle when you're short circuit MIG welding. This takes a lot of fatigue out of your wrist because you're not fighting a big stiff rubber whip there at the end. So having that makes a world of difference. But let's get into this. What we have here is a European style or Euro style, however they phrase it, for your connector on the welder. It's a very simple process. You got your two prongs here, which is going to be powering the torch. You have where the wire goes in, and then also the gas. Right here it threads. And if you ever need to disassemble this to work on anything, right here, there's a little hole, and what you would do is line that up with the screw to undo that and take things apart. But let's get into it here. Now, there's plastic caps. You're just going to remove these if I can. Okay, that's really on there. Better safe than sorry. But you can't mess up putting this in here. All you got to do is line these holes up and everything will slide into place. So I'm going to turn this around a little bit. That's going to push straight in, and then I'm just going to thread this on here. Now that's nice and tight and secure. So, let's see what we have. And there is the MIG gun hooked to the machine. Now let's get the TIG torch set up on it. So let's go ahead and get our TIG torch hooked up. Real simple process. You want to take your end of your TIG torch, which has a DIN style connector on the end. You want to go to your negative terminal here, slide right in with a groove, give it a turn, locks it in place. Gas line, push, you're done. Right here is a finger control switch that came with the torch, and you're gonna line the grooves up, screw it down, lock it down, you're done. And then on your ground, when you have your TIG welder hooked up, or your TIG torch, I apologize, you're gonna go to your positive terminal with that. Now with the finger control that's on here, this is basically a push and play. You can go into 2T or 4T mode. With that 4T, basically you hit the trigger and it'll keep on rolling. 2T is you're gonna push and hold it. Now, the thing is with this trigger, whatever your parameters are on your machine, that's what you're stuck with. So if you want more flexibility while using a finger control switch, they do have these right here that has an adjustment knob. While you're welding, you can turn your heat up or down. Real simple. So if that's something that you would be more curious into using or more helpful with for your process, check these out. These are really nice. They have different styles of these as well. Now let's say that you don't want to use the finger control, you want to use the foot pedal that came with it. Same process. All you have to do, unscrew this, take this out, and all you got to do is just let it hang, tie it up, put it up, whatever you have to do. Get your foot pedal, same thing. Line up the grooves, push it in, lock it down, you're good to go. Now, for me, since they have the wireless foot control, that is something I prefer. And I have one here that I am going to show you all how to plug up to this machine and how it actually works. Okay, so the wireless foot pedal, this is the pedal itself. I did a quick little video on Instagram comparing the weight and size to the old style Nova wireless foot pedal to the newer one, and it is a big difference. It's going to have your charging cable for the foot pedal. This is going to be the receiver or the part that puts out the signal for the pedal. And then it also has your power cord to power this unit here, and then the end that you're going to plug in where you would originally put your wired foot pedal. Very simple. Same process. You're just going to line everything up, lock it in. Now this part here is magnetic, so you can take and put this wherever you want on the machine and go from there. You would run a power cord to here, and then your foot pedal, and you're good to go. It did come with this little magnet in the box. I'm not entirely sure what that's for, so I'll use it to hold paperwork or something, blueprints, whatever I need. One thing I would like to say with these wireless foot pedals is if they would integrate somehow into the back of the machines to plug that into, or utilize this outlet here to power that foot pedal. This is where you're going to put your water cooler, actually, if you wanted a water cooler, which I'm really curious which water cooler actually goes with this machine and how well that setup is going to be and what that would look like. So I might dive into that, get one, and go back over that later in the future. So the wireless foot pedals for the Everlast machines, I'm a big fan of them. If you haven't used them, please check them out. So now let's get into hooking up your stinger for stick welding. So right here, previously we have the ground or your workpiece clamp hooked to the positive side. We need to switch that over to negative. And same thing, twist and lock. Stinger, you're good to go. And again, remember, I'm going to go through each one of these welding processes for this machine. Those will be next videos on how to set up, switch your polarities, going to go into the system, adjust settings, and save them so that way if I need to get to a particular job or setting quickly, I can just go to the menu, select that job number, and it's done. I don't have to mess with any settings and mess with anything. It is a really cool feature this machine has, and I will show you what that looks like before this video is over. So let's go ahead and get into the menu settings to where you can save parameters that you have set for whatever job you're working on or according to whatever whips you're working on. I like this feature because you can lock things in and they can't be tampered unless you physically go in there and unlock it and mess with everything. So to give you a quick breakdown, I've already kind of played around with it. I set the machine to 20 volts, 200 inches per minute. That's just random something I was doing. So what you're going to do if I want to save all these settings, wire, post-flow, pre-flow, whatever, upslope, we're going to push this save recall button for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then up here it's going to say save. That's the mode you want to be in. Let's go to number 4. It's got a little lock on it. To unlock it, you're going to push the power set button. Now that's unlocked. Now the manual states that on the right knob you push in to access that save control mode. Problem is that manual is wrong. Well, at least on mine it is anyway. You're actually going to push in on the left knob. Now, if you want to go, let's say we're going to name this job, we'll just name it job 1. So you're going to go to the J, left side, click, there's the J. We're going to go up and name this job 1, job. And then we're going to go down here to the numerical section, 1, and then we're going to scroll over to save. It does take some scrolling. It would be cool if it was touchscreen, but hey, I'm not complaining. So now we're going to go up here to save, click in on the left knob. Now job 1 is saved for me there, and I can access it anytime I want for those parameters. There are 30 in total, so you should not have any problem running out of room. Now, let's say you're working to a whips, and you want to set your whips to number 1. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to set the machine to where that whips is what it's stating, and you're going to save it there. That way somebody grabs their documents, they can see on the documents for this machine, it's setting 1 for those parameters. Now, let's say you want to go to one of those. You're not going to push and hold. You're just going to push the save recall button, and you're going to scroll down to the one you want. So we got job 1, or that was a random one I was doing was new. We'll pretend that one was new. We're going to select that one. Now it's on those parameters that I have set for new. Well, let's say we need to jump back to another job. You're going to click on it. It's going to say recall. You're going to go down to where it says job number 1. You're going to select it, and look, parameters are saved. That is an awesome feature to have on your machine, guys. Even if you're an at-home DIY, take a note of all your settings you have. That way, if you're practicing and you find things that work out great for you for the particular job you're working on, save that in there. Use that. That is a very useful function. I really am happy that Everlast has these in their machines. They also have it in quite a few of their others as well. Well, I do hope you all enjoyed the unboxing video of the Everlast Thunder 255 MTS MIG welding machine. Again, the next videos will be going through each welding process and setting parameters and how to save each one to the memory. So stay tuned for those. If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out. I do encourage you to check this machine out. Jump on Everlast's website, check these machines. It's a super nice one. And I am actually, when I'm done with all these videos, I am going to take this to work and put this in full production head to head with another brand machine that color happens to be blue. And also don't forget, check out their wireless foot pedals on Everlast. And I will see you on the next videos. Thanks for watching.